When the internet started to get online streaming services, it was seen as one of the greatest things in the world because cable sucks. Always has been. Never been good. And honestly, it's overpriced. So when online streaming services started to come around and you had something like Netflix show up, it was seen as the bastion of light, something that was amazing. It was the greatest thing in the world. Why even pirate content? Why even consider the idea of pirating content if you have everything on one consolidated platform? But that was a fool's dream, a fool's vision to think that it was always going to stay that way. It was never going to stay that way. And unfortunately, in the current state of streaming services, that shit's sad. I'm gonna be honest. It's sad as fuck. It's so disheartening to see every single service continue to raise their prices higher and higher and higher, and then they lose more and more content, and it leads to this bubble of consolidated exclusivity type of content on one platform. And then if you want to see this part, you gotta go here, and if you want to go here, you gotta see this, and then you go to. It's fucking wild. But the reason I'm making this video is because recently Crunchyroll has finally announced that they're going to shut down Funimation for good. Now, for those that are unaware, Sony bought Funimation a couple of years back. They did a merger where they combined both of them, and they've always announced that eventually they were going to shut down Funimation. It was just a matter of when, not if. And you know what? Honestly, it is what it is, I guess, if you want to sit there and know my thoughts on it. But here's what my real issue is. I'm going to be honest. My biggest issue is that they're pretty much doing the same shit that they... Okay, so let me rewind some things. When they first announced this, I used to use Funimation myself for many fucking years. I was grandfathered into a cheap-ass plan. But then they told me, they're like, hey... we're going to be shutting down this service soon, so if you want to, you can switch on over to Crunchyroll now, and we're not going to be adding no more new dubs to Funimation or anything like that. I was like, all right, well, fuck. All right, I'll do it now. And then they didn't do it for like 3 more years until now they're finally shutting it down. But the reason why they took so long to even do this transition was because the idea behind it was to get all the dubs and everything that was on Funimation over to Crunchyroll, which still isn't fully finished. One of the biggest middle fingers that they are currently doing is all your digital content that you bought on Funimation, that you paid your hard-earned money for, isn't transferring over to Crunchyroll. But you know what? Let me read you their statement so that you get a better idea of what exactly I'm even talking about. So it starts off by saying, as part of Crunchyroll's unification of fan services announced in March 2022, the Funimation app and website will sunset April 2nd, 2024. It says, rest assured, this transition will not impact your access to the vast library of anime available on Crunchyroll. We remain committed to delivering the best anime streaming experience and will continue to expand our offerings to cater to your diverse interests. Now, reading this part alone is already interesting just to see it's the way it's read like this one, especially when you go later down. It's just very interesting. It says, rest assured, this transition will not impact your access to the vast library of anime available on Crunchyroll. This doesn't really say anything about the current anime that's on Funimation that isn't on Crunchyroll, but just that, hey, you're going to have a vast library on Crunchyroll. Don't worry, guys. All right. You're still going to have access. And then they just tell you right here why you should have Crunchyroll. Pretty much just PR speak. It says, why is Funimation ended? It says that Funimation, our mission has always been to provide fans with exceptional streaming service and access to the largest anime library in the world. The collaboration between Funimation and Crunchyroll allows us to continue delivering on that mission and bring you the best of anime content. It tells you when it's ending. It says, is all the Funimation catalog available on Crunchyroll? Most of the content has been migrated already. Please keep an eye on our news page and anime lineup for further updates. Our team is working daily to bring more content to all our fans. To me, that is something I hate reading because it means that, hey, we're probably not going to have all the content transferred over by the time we sunset the service. But rest assured, put your trust in us. Please put it in us and understand that we will have it over one day. Sure, we haven't gotten all of it yet since 2020 when we first acquired Funimation, or 2021, but we will have it there one day. And it might not be when the service shuts down, but we will get it one day. And it's so fucking scummy. I hate reading shit like that. To me, unless you have all the fucking content that you had on Funimation over to Crunchyroll, they don't sunset the shit yet, especially when it's already taken a fuckload of time. And if they can't do it because they got to do licensing and renegotiations, whatever the case might be, then just be transparent about it, be open about it. But I know they're not going to do it, but I wish they would, because I feel like that is the type of transparency that's needed, especially when you're doing something like this. But let's continue. Pretty much it's just saying, hey, is my price going to change? Will my subscription transfer over? And they say going forward, the subscription fees will reflect on the next billing cycle through Crunchyroll, the third-party access platform, following Crunchyroll's pricing. I saw something earlier, and I'm not really too sure about the pricing. I saw this making a lot of waves, and it was just telling someone who was a Funimation customer, it said, thank you for being a loyal customer. It says, as part of a transition to Crunchyroll, the price of your new subscription plan will increase from $54.95 to $99, which is fucking insane. That is an insane price jump. But I'm really not sure where this price comes from, or if it's like for the mega plan on Crunchyroll and not just the regular plan, unless they're saying that, hey, our regular plan is already like $60 is going to be jumping up to $100 next year. Hey, if that's happening, dog, they can go suck a dick. That's fucking insane. Ain't no goddamn universe I'm going to pay 100 fucking bucks to watch anime at all. There's no way, bro. Ain't no shot. That's fucking wild. But again, I don't know if this is real. I'm pretty sure that the image itself is real. I just don't know the actual context behind the prices, but I at least wanted to show it just in case some people are curious to sort of know what some people might be expecting. And again, to me, that's fucking wild. That is an insane price jump to pretty much be kicked off a service and forced to go to another one and be told that, hey, your price is going to go up literally almost $60 is crazy. Now, the biggest issue that a lot of people have had with this, and why you see a lot of people making a stink, is this right here. It says, what is going to happen to my digital copies? We understand that you may have concerns about your digital copies from Funimation. These digital copies are available on Funimation where a digital access to the content available on the DVDs or Blu-rays purchased. Please note that Crunchyroll does not currently support Funimation digital copies, which means that access to previously available digital copies will not be supported. However, and they always like to do this. However, we are continuously working to enhance our content offerings and provide you with an exceptional anime streaming experience. We appreciate your understanding and encourage you to explore the extensive anime library available on Crunchyroll. AKA, fuck you and your purchases. You're probably not going to get them to transfer over to Crunchyroll. And instead of worrying about the past and the future and the things that you did own or that you thought you owned, worry about what we do have on our own catalog and our service. Why are you worried about that? We got all these movies and anime and things that you can watch, and you're concerned about your digital copies that you had on Funimation? Are you stupid, bro? Why are you worried about that? That's pretty much as it reads and how they're trying to pose it. With the way they word this by saying we are continuously working to enhance our content offerings and provide you an exceptional anime streaming experience, and telling you to explore the extensive anime library on Crunchyroll, that's more or less their way of saying, hey, we have no intentions of really ever getting this over here. Because if they did, they would have had a more firm, clear statement and goal on when they plan to have this happen. That is fucking insane. This continued cycle of the digital content that you get, and all the rest of this isn't really anything fancy. It's just saying, hey, what if you're located in X location, blah, 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 blah. But this is just so fucking scummy. As this whole digital universe keeps on going, this is why a lot of people like to prefer to own physical copies and physical media and hate that everything goes digital, because it's shit like this. You sit there and you buy all this stuff and you think that, hey, I'm going to have access to it. And then you get told, sorry, bucko, not happening. You thought you were going to have access, but you're not. It's just like the same shit that happened with Sony recently a couple months back when it happened with HBO. If I recall correctly, there was a bunch of content that people own for HBO, and they were pretty much saying, hey, license negotiations or whatever, not happen, didn't work out, or whatever the case might be. And so all the content that you bought on our service from HBO is gone. It's just completely, it just poofed in the thin air. You don't have access to it no more. It's just gone. This is the real scary future of digital ownership, is that you don't actually own anything and that you don't get refunds on anything that you purchase. Why you don't get refunds is beyond me. If you bought something digitally on a service and then they take away access for you to be able to download it, own it, or whatever the case might be, you should be entitled to a refund. It should be mandatory at that point. It shouldn't be an optional thing. It shouldn't be up to the service to be like, oh, well, maybe we might give it or maybe we won't give it. No, it should be fucking mandatory. Like this, it's just so sad. It's so irritating to see this conglomerate of streaming services. It's just like this, right? Crunchyroll is really the only main streaming competitor out there now for anime, besides, I guess, Netflix and Amazon, if you want to count them, but they're not really in the same space as Crunchyroll. Sure, you got High Dive, but they really ain't shit compared to Crunchyroll either. This consolidation of streaming services is always very scary, because now it gives them full ability and control. And don't get me wrong, I know that Crunchyroll and Funimation have been owned by Sony for some time now, and maybe they won't do anything crazy with the prices for a while, But when you have a stranglehold and you have the grass market share and no one else can really challenge you because you get all the rights to stream anime, then you kind of have the power to do whatever you want, like Netflix currently does, where they keep raising the prices over and over and over and over. Earlier this year, they said, hey, we're fucking doing good, dog. Our prices, fuck yeah, we're killing this shit. We're getting more subscribers than ever. And then on top of that, we're going to raise prices even more. We're going to sunset our base original cheapo plan, and we're going to make you now have to start paying 15 or 16 bucks for our regular plan. That is fucking crazy. These services are trying to get things to get to a point where it's like 20 fucking bucks, and then they want you to buy every goddamn streaming service just so you can access certain pieces of seasons, content, episodes. It's wild, man. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about this real quick because it actually makes me upset to see this and to see people just literally get screwed over time and time and time again. Funimation should have never shut down if they weren't fully ready to have everything migrated over. They should have sunset it later once everything was fully transferred over. But again, that's not how life works. They know that they can just give some people the middle finger and say, hey, we got most of it. We put effort. We tried. And they'll be like, hey, pat us on the back. Eat for effort, all right? It's better to try than not try, right? And that's pretty much Crunchyroll's outlook on this from what I can tell. Anyways, you made this far into the video. Consider giving a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me comment below what you think. Have a great day. Yeah.